Good afternoon. Oh, it's a bright, wonderful Friday afternoon, and actually I can see blue sky, so that's all right. How are you? Yeah, are you having a good time? Are you embracing April? It is April, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Are you embracing April as you should? Good. Yeah? Yeah, glad to hear it. So this one today, it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's quite apt at the minute because the course I'm running, we're talking all about communication. Leanne, good to see you, my love. How are you? And oh my gosh, I shared your link a while back. So feel free to put it in the comments here because I think what you're doing is brilliant. Leanne is doing swimsuits for sort of swimming aids for toddlers. And oh my God, if only I'd had that when my two were toddlers, it would have been brilliant. So shove a link in there, Leanne, if you like. It would be lovely to support you. Today, as I was saying, in my online course, Confident Parent, Confident Child, we were talking all about communication. And what we have been learning, and I still find it quite tricky, is we have to listen a hell of a lot more. And do you know what? The majority of us don't. We're like this. And that's fine. We are. But we need to stop, put our foot on the brakes and pay attention to the people we are communicating with. Because invariably what we tend to do is we communicate and we listen with the intention of speaking afterwards. Oh God, shut up, because what I'm going to say is so much more interesting. Or, yeah, I hear you, but listen to what I've got to say. Do you know what I mean? And we don't. We need to stop all that. And we need to, because come on, you know me by now, guys. 3 basic needs, apart from the very obvious, which are health and security and all that sort of stuff. Our 3 basic needs, Shelley, darling, lovely to see you. Our 3 basic needs to be loved, to be understood, and to be respected. And we cannot understand people if we don't listen. If we are on send instead of receive, how the bloody hell are we going to understand anybody? You know, and the thing is we are hell-bent on, no, but that's not what I meant. You want to hear what I've got to say. No. So here's my quote for today. We are all desperate to be understood, but we forget to be understanding. And sometimes we're just not very compassionate, are we? And you know, I mean, it's even silly things like my driving. Now, sometimes, you know what it's like when you leave it to the last minute and you think, oh, you know, I'll just do that before I do this. And and listen, if I just get that done, I know I'll be a tiny bit late, but it'll be all right. And then you're sort of screeching around about on 2 wheels because you were late and you were just doing that really important task. And yeah, but I didn't mean to do that. And yet, woe betide someone that cuts you up. Oh my God, woe betide someone that doesn't let you in when, you know, yeah? So I know it's a silly example, but come on, I think we all need to slow down, don't we really? And we need to pay attention to others and to realise that actually we blimmin' well got to practice what we preach. And it doesn't matter if it's people at the sort of water sort of bucket, you know, no, we're not animals, do you know what I mean? The coffee machine at work, or if it's your children, if you're a parent. You know, I think especially with kids and parents, we're used to being the boss. And then when the kids grow up slightly and have the audacity to have an opinion, what we say sometimes no longer goes, or it doesn't wash so well. And we still have that need to, no, but they've got to know that I love them and I've got their best interest at heart. Yeah, but for a 10-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever age, Lorraine, thank you for joining us, whatever age, you know, it might not wash any longer. And we have to take our conversations and the way we operate maybe slightly differently and with a bit more understanding. And I think the thing is that when we're not understood, and maybe even if someone takes offence, And we didn't really mean to say it like that. Or, do you know what I mean? Or someone's, oh God, they're very oversensitive. It can be quite damaging. And I think we need to learn from it. We need to learn from all our conversations, from all our communications. But actually the main thing is to walk the talk and to appreciate that, well, why is it that my 15-year-old never listens? Well, sir, do you listen to him? We don't really, do we? We pretend we do, and then invariably with the hope of, oh, well, hang on a minute, I've got something equally important to say. But we don't stop ourselves and go, right, okay, let's each have equal airtime and let's each have the same degree of respect that we are expecting from one another. Children learn by observation. They're not stupid. And if you're not prepared to listen to what they've got to say, why the bloody hell should they reciprocate? So it is, I'm going to reach for my cuppa. So it is a matter of leading by example, I think. And regardless of if it's at work, or Colin, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. It's just, yeah, you quite, like, whatever this has struck up for you, we are desperate to be understood, but forget to be understanding. It struck a chord with you as well, I sort of noticed on your timeline. So I think the thing is that, do you know what the trick is? And it's hard. Jane, congratulations! Oh my stars, I'm so happy for you guys. That's wonderful. Well done. Oh, you see, you're all coming on board now. Jelly, darling, how are you? I'm talking, and I've just lost my thread, but I'm talking about sort of compassion. And we are so desperate for people to understand us that we sort of forget to be sort of, compassionate and kind and nice to other people. And do you know what the trick is, really? Which is really quite hard, is to take the ego out of everything. If you've been misunderstood, just, it's not because you're a shitty person. And if it is, you need to sort yourself out. But if you've been misunderstood, maybe you delivered. Yeah, you've done really well, Jane. Jane's has been sort of working towards getting lottery funding, and her group in Dromore, County Down, got 48 grand or something. So go you. That'll make such a massive difference to loads of people. So you should be very proud of yourself, my love. Well done. And so, yeah, so it's having compassion, and it's taking your ego out of stuff and go, well, that's not what I meant. Well, okay, why were you misunderstood then? Was it the way you delivered your message? Was it your tone of voice? Was it the way that you were wagging your finger at your 17-year-old son? Was it, and think back and go, oh, okay, right, yeah, well, maybe my delivery wasn't the best. Or maybe I made assumptions. Or maybe I didn't voice my expectations. But just bring it back and take the ego out of it and work out, hang on a minute, what's the long-term goal here? Do we all need to work overtime and get this report in on time? Yeah? So why did you go off at the deep end when Stacey told you she couldn't possibly come in on Saturday because it was her daughter's wedding? Well, we've got to have compassion and understanding. Take the ego out of it. And so, do you know what I mean? It's we very much concentrate sometimes on our own goals, our own aspirations, our own hopes and dreams, our own end result. And we forget that actually sometimes it's a two-way street and there are other people involved. And actually your 17-year-old son has told you 2 months in advance that this party was coming up. And so, no, actually he's not going to be there for Granny's 70th. And so we need to work out and keep those lines of communication open rather than get all worked up and pissed off that it hasn't worked out just exactly how you wanted it. Does that make sense? Let me take a slurp. So the trick is, really, in fairness, is to listen, to pay attention. What's the difference between hearing and listening? Well, hearing is that you know that there's a shed load of words, all of which you understand, but it's only when you listen that you actually get the message. Mum, I told you 2 months ago it's Robert's party. Oh yeah. Mum heard that it was Robert's party. What she didn't pay attention to is the date, and now Granny's going to be mortified. Or not. If Granny's got any sense, she'll think, yeah, quite right, son, you're quite right. It's probably going to be, Robert's party's going to be much more fun than stuffed olives on a doily. But do you know what I mean? So we need to just understand that actually, God forbid, the world doesn't revolve around us. And if we want to be understood, then we need to be understanding. We need to appreciate someone else's point of view. We need to appreciate someone else's situation. And do you know what? And this is a tricky one for many of us, self-included sometimes. We need to be able to forgive. We need to acknowledge, and it's not just everyone else we need to forgive. We could do with a good dollop of forgiving ourselves as well, because we're not always going to get it right. And we do jump off at the deep end. And we do make assumptions and have very high expectations sometimes. And that's all right, as long as we learn, as long as we don't make the same old mistakes again and again and again. Gillian, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I'm just saying that when we are misunderstood, it can be quite disconcerting, and it can often bruise our ego a bit and bruise our pride. And, oh, well, I'm not that sort of person. Well, actually, yeah, whatever. Then work out what the long game is and just sort of go, well, okay, I misconstrued myself, or I misconstrued the situation, or I said it all wrong, or I used the wrong, God, I used totally the wrong word, or, do you know what I mean? Because we're not always going to get it right, but I think that sometimes it's hold your hand up and go, yeah, I get you. And when we get into trouble or find ourselves on a sticky wicket, we do sometimes dig a hole deeper for ourselves, and sometimes admitting that you're wrong, sometimes saying, oh my God, I really screwed up there, I'm sorry. You know, it's all, I've got so many examples, but what I'm really trying to say is it's all about communication. And because we use words, and because we make assumptions, and because we have expectations, and because we use the wrong word sometimes, we will be open to misinterpretation, and we will be misunderstood. And I know it annoys us, and I know it can often be quite upsetting. But it's a matter of put yourself in someone else's shoes, perhaps, and work out, do you know what, this misunderstanding it is, how important is it? What's more important, my relationship with this person, or the fact that I am right? Or the fact that even though I know I'm wrong, it would be silly to admit I'm wrong, so I've got to stand by my guns. Come on. Lauren, how are you? Are you enjoying the Easter holidays? Hope you are. Yeah, you guys are off at the minute, aren't you? So just, embrace the very fact that, let's face it, we're going to screw up. It's a bit like my previous quote the other days. Confidence is all about, okay, you're going to get it wrong, but don't worry about it, because we all get it wrong sometimes. That actually wasn't the actual words, but you get what I'm saying. So have a think. Have a think, what's your story? What's your point of view? Because actually, and this is a trick, she says, just reaching for her tea before it gets cold. If you're struggling in a situation, I liken it to having a sort of 3 points of a triangle. Look at your point of view, yeah? Oh, your Easter holiday started today, woohoo! Oh my gosh! Oh, how wonderful. Well, there you are. Prosecco's obviously the... Oh, no, that's Jane. Sorry. Jane, well, Jane, have some Prosecco. Yeah. Or a large gin or a cup of tea or whatever. Think of this. If you're in a sort of a situation that's been bugging you, think of it 3 points of a triangle. And I know that you will so grasp your point of view. You'll know it. Yeah, oh, come on. Of course, I've got this. Now do me a favour and look at the other person's point of view. God, if I must. Right, okay. Look at the other person's point of view. Yeah, well, all right, they might have a point. Yeah, whatever. There's still ego there, isn't there? I'm way righter than they are. Now, third point. Look at the situation from a fly on the wall's point of view. You're a fly on the wall and you're looking at both sides. Yeah? Okay, well, both of you have a point, really. And it's not really a matter of who's right or wrong. It's how do you resolve this? And, oh, okay, right. Oh, that's me over there, is it, yeah? Yeah, I'm wagging my finger too much. Oh, I'm shouting. Oh, I'm being quite confrontational. Oh my God, what does that poor person think of me? Do you get what I'm saying? So disassociate yourself from the situation if it requires this little technique. It's, you know, it's a bit like a, what do you call it, camera, you know, sort of, no, I can't even remember. You know what I mean. Camera on the wall, fly on the wall, whatever. And it just allows you to look at the situation from various points of view. Yeah? And actually, it takes, by disassociating from the situation, even if it's a cantankerous old father-in-law or a boss that is refusing to give you time off, or a 14-year-old daughter that's wearing a belt instead of a skirt. Do you know what I mean? Just have a look at everyone's points of view and then totally dissociate and go, oh, okay, I can quite understand why he's cross and she's cross and yeah, okay? You get it? It makes life a bit easier. And a bit of humble pie, it doesn't hurt, you know, even if it is that horrid person that cut you up, because it'll be you next week, promise. Unless you're one of these people that drives like that, which is probably, I'm the one that's flashing you in the rearview mirror. Do you know what I mean? But have a think, because communication is so important, and no one taught us how to do it. And sometimes we need to put the brakes on and go, oh, I didn't really handle that very well. Because if you feel misunderstood, odds on the other person's feeling equally crappy about the situation. And we're not all out to get one another. We're not all out to win points. I know there are some that try very hard and some people that appear a bit like it, and that's fine. And some people that drive you batty. And bet you're not perfect all the time, are you really? No, I'm not, bloody hell. But just have a think and reassess the situation and think of 3 points of that triangle. My point of view, their point of view, oh, and let's actually look at it as a third party. And it's really a bit of an eye-opener if you are bold enough to do it and disassociate and not always think you're right. So have a think. So there you are. I wish you a very happy Friday. Yeah, have a good one. And for those of you who haven't downloaded my app, why the hell not? Go to your app store, please, and search for the Teen Toolbox. It's marketed towards parents and teens. It's actually jam-packed stuff, full of stuff. It's got PDFs and exercises and hints and tips. It's got stuff that actually is just like my lives, slightly less waffly in some places, but it's for anyone in any situation, dealing with a classroom of 7-year-olds, or is it 7? Anyway, classroom of kids, to your own kids, to tricky work people, to your partner that's driving you batty. But, you know, so it's not just for parents and kids or young people. It is for anyone who needs to think more positively, who needs to think slightly, get a bit more confidence and sort the shit out in your head, really. That's. I was going to call it something along. What was I going to call it? But Apple banned it. It was going to something, you know. I think it was going to sort your shit out or something like that, but Apple wouldn't allow. Funny that, really, isn't it? So we've marketed it towards parents and teens, but it is for anyone that is really looking for a couple of pointers. And listen, if you follow me, you know how I operate. So on that note, Teen Toolbox from your app store. I would so appreciate it. Please share this. If you maybe have misunderstood someone or know someone that's misunderstood you, or just someone that needs to know, yeah, you know, don't worry, I've got your back, you're okay. But share this because, you know, it's just may as well spread the word and make people feel better, because there's a hell of a lot of rubbish going on out there at the minute. And Yeah, I'm keeping my rose-tinted glasses on. I'm in my little media-free bubble. Not my social media-free bubble, I hasten to add. But have a great weekend, and I shall catch you at some stage. So much love. Thank you. Bye-bye.